Hey everyone, welcome back to AED Summit. We are now here with Alex Kraft with Heave. Alex, you got a really unique product. Why don't you kind of expound and tell us a little bit about what you got going on?
Sure, would love to. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
Pleasure.
Appreciate it. So, Heave. Heave was formed from my dealership experience. I have been in the industry since 2004, was an equipment salesperson myself, managed a dealership. We were a Volvo branded dealership, and all Heave is, it's built for salesmen.
Mm-hmm.
It is, if I'm an equipment salesman and I rent or buy or sell equipment, I log on to heave.co, I create an account, I set a geography, and then I get a text message every time a customer wants to rent or buy a machine in my area.
Interesting.
So
And
dive into that a little bit deeper, though. Where can I, out of Michigan, click to make this work, and how does it work for like the consumer, like someone like me that knows nothing about technology?
so you're talking
at
about
all?
the contractor side or the sales side?
Both. So I want to go down both avenues of, like, Brian was into sales and I was in the contractor. So how would this work for both sides of the table, and how do we go about this?
So for a customer, we market, that's our biggest expense, right? We're trying to drive traffic to our site. We're an aggregator at the end of the day.
Sure.
Right? So we are trying to drive traffic to Heave. We, Google and all the traditional social channels. I mean, these AED functions and meetings, like, everyone's talking more about how many customers are searching for equipment online. And you've seen statistics like 18 million monthly heavy equipment searches online.
Yeah.
And so I was blind to that when I worked for a dealership, honestly. And that's the thing that you see, is that there are so many people out there already. And so that's, we're refining and continuing to adjust our marketing spend, and we're being able to bring customers in because, customers have been searching for an easier way and to gain information. And that's who we speak to on the customer side. For salespeople, it's the traditional, not only are customers searching online, but you see this really large contingent of salespeople who are thinking outside of the box. They're going to Facebook Marketplace, they're going to LinkedIn to build their own brand, to drive leads for themselves, right? Hey, I have a Takeuchi TL12, I work for this dealership and it's this price, give me a ring. And so I think we have a really unique time in the industry where both the sales side and the customer side are all out there.
Yeah.
And they've been thinking of things differently. And so that's who we've been able to successfully pull into our platform, because they're open. Customers are open to doing it a different way, and more of the traditional sales force is open to looking at new opportunities.
So just out of curiosity, thinking about my sales days, there's some of us who are kind of along this road of discovery of kind of everything moving to a digital space, this new form of communication. There are a lot of those still in the industry on the dealership side who are still very old school.
Mm-hmm.
So
Donut and coffees?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I'm going to drive to see you 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So my question is, do I need to be on board as a dealership, or is this something that, hey, Brian Furnace, the salesman, can sign up for Heave, and it's just another channel for me to sell equipment?
It can be both.
Okay.
Right? And, one of the things that I've learned, this is my first time starting a company, was, and maybe I'm not too smart, it took me a little while to learn this, but is that it's important to understand who your user is. And you don't have to be for everybody.
Sure.
And so, at first, we were trying to have so many conversations, right? And I was having a lot of those conversations with a 20-year veteran. Well, you know what? That guy's been really successful the way he's been doing it.
Yeah.
With the donuts and the job site visits. And so, you know what? Maybe Heave is not for that guy.
Sure.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But there are so many sales reps and dealers that are looking to do it a different way. And that's when that kind of clicked for me. Those are more the conversations we were having, and then we focused on giving them the best experience possible and providing value to those people, and that's what's helped us gain the traction that we have.
So just to kind of go down the path of what the experience is like using Heave, because our audience here primarily is going to be dealerships or salespeople within dealerships. If I, as a salesman, want to sign up, what kind of information do you need, not only from a personal standpoint, but also from what my pieces of equipment that are available for sale are.
Your blood type, your
Okay, we're
your
getting right into it.
firstborn, right?
Absolutely. Social Security number for sure.
So what kind of subscription does this take? It's a life and death deal, huh?
Actually, because you give all that information, it's a free service.
So it is so simple. You go to our site, heave.co, and it's name, first name, last name, email address, phone number.
Wow.
And the dealership that you work for. Because,
Sure.
you know, and then the other piece, like, what do you need from me? So the way it works, and this is part of the explanation to a lot of people, because it's a new concept, is that everyone is kind of familiar with, like, the machinery trade model of listing. So
Correct.
they think of it, all right, I'm going to go look and browse through machines that are available. That's not how it works.
Okay.
So we expose to the salespeople and the market who the customers are.
So Rick goes on Heave and says, I'm looking for a 35 class mini excavator.
Mm-hmm.
And as a salesman, I get an email that says, hey, Brian, Heave here. We got Rick Valco. He's in your area. He's looking for this machine.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have the ability to send him pictures of my machine and information. How does that work?
So you would get a text and an email saying Rick, or the name of his company, it can be individual or company, is looking for this size class machine in this hour range.
Okay.
With a cab and air if it was a smaller machine.
Sure.
And you would get a text message. You could click in the link in the text and then enter your model and price. You can upload pictures if you want, but you can quote deals one-off like that. We also have the ability, as we continue to develop the product, we have the ability to take a file from a dealership of all their inventory and do a match.
Interesting.
So, and that benefits the customer, right? Because then as soon as they press submit, whatever's in our database, they would get an immediate quote from that dealer with that salesperson's name.
Interesting.
That is interesting right
So how does the pay structure work? Is this a subscription-based service for your dealerships? If I do it as an individual salesman, is it based off of kind of a monthly fee, or is it based off of sales?
So, and that was the hard part initially for us too. When you have a new product and a new concept, how do you price it?
Sure.
No one has anything to compare it against.
Yeah.
And so what we've settled on that makes the most sense to me is we sell enterprise packages to dealers or suppliers where it's a pay by quote model.
Okay.
And so the best way is so a dealer could choose a package and then they get X amount of quotes for that package.
Gotcha.
Everyone on their sales team with that email address can pull as they quote deals, and it would deduct from that central bank, I call it. And it's not a monthly recurring, because we want the dealer to be in control of their spend. So if I look at the deals that are posted on Heave, and here's a customer who's interested in this machine, but I don't have any, all right, I don't have to quote it.
Yeah.
And so therefore,
You made this pretty simple.
the dealer controls the spend. But what happens if the market, I mean, it's the hottest market ever, right? Nobody has anything. But what happens if the market goes down?
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to justify the Heave expense, because you're still, now, if the market goes down, there's less opportunities to quote. So then probably my package goes out longer.
So is when you say you pay to quote, that's actually paying for me to submit my equipment, or is it paying to receive the notification Rick's looking?
No, so you receive the notifications for free.
Perfect.
You will pay to quote that customer. And then so the next crucial piece is we allow the customer to determine who they want to talk to.
Okay.
So the customer, they get a text, hey, you have a Bobcat E50 quote or whatever it is. And they look at their quotes, and then we have the salesperson, dealer, and then their contact information. They basically press contact salesperson, and then the salesperson gets, hey, Rick's email address is this, his phone number is this, he's interested in your Bobcat E50, you know.
And you guys are pretty diverse. You're not just sticking with this class or this brand. You're listing any kind of capability, from brand to the capability of what kind of machine it is.
We are brand agnostic. We have all of the different manufacturers. I'm sure someone could find one that's not on our site, so we'll add it.
Gotcha.
But yeah, like we want to be brand agnostic, and we want to be customer focused. I want an 11,000 pound machine. I want a 3.5 yard wheel loader, and then let everyone send their quote to that customer.
Well, I think you leaned into a pretty diverse space that helps a dealer to a consumer connect. Two questions I got for you. One, What separates you guys apart without being, let's say, using the word mobile? Everybody's mobile every market. What sets you apart from there? And then two, to follow up on being here in this excitement, what are people missing by not being here and, rubbing elbows with someone like you at your booth, for example?
Well, yesterday might have been a different story. They were missing who we had in our booth, but
Some attractive ladies, from what I hear.
That's going to sell the Heave, boys.
Absolutely.
Well, everyone talks about it's a relationship business, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And I believe that too. So, I mean, AED is such a well-attended show, and it's a chance to connect with people. And we all have been stuck in these virtual meetings, right? These Zooms, and it is a different, for us, the benefit is that when you have somebody come to your booth and you're able to demo your product, you can look them in the eye, you can see the body language, you can see like they're taking it like, oh wow, okay. That's very different than, all right, here's another Zoom with a dealer in this area, and I can't really tell, like, is it connecting with them?
Yeah.
Right. And so that's why we're here, and that's why we'll continue participating, is because it's a different type of interaction, and building the brand.
Yeah.
But, I'm sorry. Getting back to your first question, I got off on.
That's all right.
No, you're good.
We do one or two. It don't matter which way we go, but we're doing two.
I got you. So what sets us apart? So here's what I would say, is that our tool is for salespeople. I mean, that to me sets, like, so like if you think about the dynamics around like a listings site where it's inventory, honestly, if a customer expresses interest in a machine, that typically is handled by a dealer as a house deal. That's the term, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And so sales, that doesn't get passed along to a sales team. And so what we wanted to do from the onset was, how does this business work? It's a relationship business, correct? Well, who are the holders of the relationship? It's customer and sales rep. And I knew, and I'm speaking from experience here. The dealership that I was at, we didn't really arm our guys with a lot of tools. So I'm not saying that in my prior life we were better than anybody else. But, so that's what we wanted to set us apart, is that, hey, we're providing something that goes directly to the salesperson that can help them rent and sell more equipment.
Interesting. Well, thanks for being on, Alex. We appreciate this. This has been great.
Awesome. Yeah, this is every one of these conversations helps us get our name out there and lets everyone know what we do. So, I love talking about what we do.
Yeah.
It's a very diverse piece of software that really helps the transition from a guy like Brian into sales to deal with someone like me. So without those tool sets being there, it's been just a cold calling, stopping in. So
yes.
And I come from the trenches, right? I don't want someone to be stopping on my job site calling me when I'm looking. I'm scrolling at night, sitting on the couch with my wife, or in the afternoon when I have the time, and then when I need something, to check the availability without having to call somebody. For someone like me, the time is money, and that kind of product putting in is phenomenal. So thanks again for your time.
No, I appreciate it. So did you ever sell?
I did. I got him. I got him for a skid steer, a stump grinder, a Fecon head.
This is how all this started. I was moving out of the used equipment into the new equipment, and he's still working off the service agreement. So
yeah, that's right.
That's why we're still here today.
Absolutely. I'm actually giving some money back to him for him to continue to be my friend. Well, guys, thanks for following along. We appreciate you guys checking us out. Stay tuned. We are going to go live here relatively quickly with Daniel Fisher from AED to talk about some of the impacts of the infrastructure bill. Stay tuned. We'll catch you guys in a minute.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.